Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Chats, Curls, and Sanity. If you're new here, my name is Alex. I come out with videos every single Monday. So, stemming off of my previous two videos, I had said that I wanted to go ahead and make videos that were, well, my first couple of episodes, I wanted them to be of my childhood, how I grew up, things like that. I was really not hesitant, but just more nervous for these next two episodes because it's gonna be like a two-part series. And it does include people that I know are going to either have their feelings hurt or they're just going to be angry about me talking about my experiences. So it is going to definitely be something that I know there's going to be a lot of negative backlash to it, but when I first came on here, I did say that I was going to kind of give everybody my perspective on things and give my opinions and my experiences that happened to myself when growing up and now and 5 years ago and things like that. So it is, buckle up because it is going to be kind of a hefty video. um, Especially those, I know there are some family members that watch as well, and I do know that not all of them know what happened to me and my sister when we were growing up, and it's just gonna be definitely a shocker for some people, kind of open a new light on people, or new, like just a different perspective of some people that are involved in this video, and just for uh safety reasons and just for other people's privacy that are included in this video, I'll just be kind of changing people's names along the video. So, with that being said, we'll go ahead and get started. So, this video is more towards how I grew up in my dad's household and the things that were either done to me, said to me, or lack thereof of parental or parent role in my life. So, of course, and I'm going to go ahead and put the disclaimer now. Of course, I'm not saying that all of my childhood was really bad and all I can think of are negative things, but a good chunk and a good portion of my childhood is pretty much all bad. I mean, I would say maybe 85% or so is probably the bad part, and there's the only 15% part where, okay, it was fine, it was good. Like, I'm not gonna say that I was poor growing up or that I or that my dad struggled financially, because we never had that problem as far as as far as I knew. So it is pretty hefty. So when my dad and my stepmom got together, my sister and I were about, she was 4 and I was 5. So when I say 4 and 5, I mean the younger, obviously the year difference. I am talking about my sister, and then the 5 would be myself. So when I say second and third grade, I mean it in the sense of my sister was in second grade, and at the same time I was in third grade. So I do have my notes here. I'd have like a good page and a half, almost 2 pages full of the things that I want to talk about, and I'll kind of just do it in chronological order. That way it doesn't get so mixed up, and of course if I kind of shift things together, well, that's my bad. But more than likely, since it is a lot of notes that I did take today, I'll probably do a 2-part series. So the second part will be more towards me older, in the sense of like high school, middle school, like high school, middle school age, I would say. So I don't remember much, like I said, about my childhood. I don't remember when I was in kinder. I don't remember when I was in first grade. Like those ages, I do not remember. So the one thing I do remember, and not that I remember it, but it's just more that they tell me about it, is my stepmom said that when she first met us, my dad, or when my dad had first met her, he had said, hey, you know what? Like, going into this, I'm already going to tell you right now, I have two kids, I have two girls. I know that there's a lot of people out there that they don't like to date people that already have kids, but if that's something that doesn't stop you, or that's a deal breaker for, or it's not a deal breaker for you, then we can continue. So they decided to continue. So of course she knew we were part of the picture. She knew that going into dating my dad, it also included us as well. And not in the sense of like their dating life, but just more so that he already has kids, he already has that priority as well, from what they tell me. So of course this is just a hearsay kind of thing. It's not something I fact like for a fact know exactly what happened, or that how that conversation happened. I don't know that. Sorry, there's a fly in here and I can't for the life of me get it. But so she knew very well that my dad had kids. And from what they've told me and my sister, she was okay with it. She was fine. I mean, the only really memory that I have is that there was a dollhouse, or like a big, like those wooden doll houses that people have, or like that people get their kids. So I know that we had that, and we had that at my grandma's house. And later on, obviously adult age, she told us that my dad had wanted to buy it for us, and she helped him pay for it. Um, and that's um a handful of things I would say that my stepmom did for us that was a more positive thing. Um, and going back to the whole, like, the disclaimer that I want to say is I never want to hurt anybody through what I'm saying. It's never my intention to do so, or isn't my intention at all whatsoever to do so. I did have a talk with my little sister, not the one that's a year older than me, but the one that, um, she's my stepmom's and my dad's, um, daughter. And we recently, of course, we had barely gotten close with one another within this past year. And I do know that she is very close with both my dad and her mom. So, and of course, the whole how she grew up, how her and my brother grew up, and how me and my sister grew up are very, very different things. There is not anything comparable to it, I don't think. Um, and I feel like a lot of people know that. And I spoke with her and I told her, hey, you know what, my next couple videos, they're gonna be in regards to dad, and they're gonna be in regards to your mom. And I just wanted to let you know, because I don't want for that to affect our relationship and what we've built with one another, with our, like, sistership, I guess you can say. Um, and I don't want for it to ruin that, and I hope that it doesn't. I love you a lot, and I wouldn't want for our relationship to just go away because of the truth that I'm speaking on publicly. And it seemed like if she wasn't okay with it, she kind of just said, hey, well, I know dad watches your videos, I just don't want him to get hurt, but um, like, it's up to you. I mean, I can't tell you what to do. And I told her, well, we'll just get into that, because that's kind of part of the videos. But um, I told her, well, dad already kind of knows what's happened, and I've expressed to him about all that, and I mean, it's not anything new to him. She was kind of just like, okay, well, he knows, then just go for it, I guess, kind of thing. So I don't know if she's mad about it, or if she's gonna be mad about it listening to this video, but I guess we'll find out. So, like I said, I was 5 when they met each other, I think. My sister was 4, or it could have been a little bit younger, so before that, so 3 and 4, or 4 and 5. I get those mixed up, but I don't remember a lot of when we first met her or how it all went down, but I I feel like once she had her kids, which would be my brother would be next, once she had him, the whole it all just shifted. Of course, she didn't have kids of her own when my dad and her got together. I don't think that it should have changed her relationship with both me and my sister. But there are a lot of reasons and excuses as to why it changed, and or as how she treated both me and my sister. But um, so my brother was born, uh, and it's kind of like we just didn't really exist at that point. I mean, my of course my dad was still there. My dad was, obviously our dad, but was he really that father figure that people need in their life? Of course, at that point I didn't have my mom in my life, so of course the role kind of shifted of my dad having to be my mom and dad at the same time, but it didn't happen at all. That's kind of like that's why I am the way I am. I was never given affection growing up. I mean, at least from what I remember, it's not like a hey dad, what's going on, like, and like hugging my dad or like this and that or whatever the case may be. So that's why I do have like a weird dynamic when it comes to that. I mean, me and my sister hardly hug each other when we see each other. We'll kind of just be like, oh, like hi, but never like a oh bye, like I love you kind of thing. It's just I feel very awkward with those things, and I feel very awkward when it comes to affection. I feel like my affection came more when I got with my boyfriend. And just give me one quick second. The thing is gonna shift because my dog is crying in the background right now, and I know it's gonna affect the whole video right now, and it's just gonna bother me with the video, but just give me one quick second. Okay, and we're back. So my dog is with me right now because she was just crying for me in the background, and I didn't want for her to mess it up like she was in the and I'm pretty sure you can hear her like crying in the background. So hopefully with her being right here right now, it won't affect it. But so yeah, I mean, I felt the shift when it comes to when they had like my brother, like their kid together. um and it's just very different because of course my brother at that point now had a mom and a dad in his life. And I feel like he had that and I didn't. There's just like a lot of things that I feel like not even my younger siblings know about that happened to me and my sister. And I feel like, of course, my younger sister, she of course tells me about things that happen in the household and things like that. And of course, I feel for her, and yeah, it shouldn't happen. And there's things that I know that are not okay, but and you can't compare them, you know what I mean? But because of course they both have their negativity, but I feel she knows that me and my sister kind of had it rough when we were growing up, and she knows that, but I just don't think she knows it to she only knows it to a certain extent. And it's just, oh my god, these flies are bugging me really bad. I don't know why we have so many flies. But, and I hope that you can't see them in the video. Because I really don't want to record another time. So, but anyways. So, that's kind of just like laying out the whole everything, laying everything out, like kind of in a general aspect of it. So I I guess I'm just gonna kind of share certain experiences when it comes to that, all that. So I kind of have things kind of like in chronological order, but if it kind of gets out of whack, well then it kind of gets out of whack. But so I want to say, so this was and second and third grade. My sister was second, I was in third grade. We were at a elementary school near my stepmom's house. So we'll just call my stepmom Sharon. Nothing, not even remotely close to her name, but we'll just call her Sharon. So, I don't know if she was working at the time of me and my sister being at that age. So my brother, he's 19 right now. So we're 6 years apart. So I want to say he was still like under 3 years old at this point. So of course he wasn't going to school yet or anything like that. And I remember my dad was working. He wasn't working at his current field right now. He was working more with like computers, because I know that he got his associates in something. I don't know, but so I know that um he had that, and I know that he would go in super super early in the mornings to go to work. And oh my god, I'm pretty sure you can see the flies in the video. Anyways, we're just gonna have to roll through and just hope for the best, because my kids are barely taking their naps right now, so this is probably the only time I'll have to record. But so my dad at the time, I think he was going in like around 6:30 or so. I like I said, I don't know if my stepmom was working at the time, so I'm just gonna call her Sharon at this point. So I don't know if Sharon was working at this point, but I remember my dad would drop us off super early at school. Sometimes even, I want to say, not even all the custodians were there at that point. I remember there was times where you had to like walk a certain way to go to school, like he would like drop us off like in the car, right? But I remember like the gate wasn't open before a certain time, and like the custodian would have to like come over and like unlock the door for us so we can go. And I don't know why they wouldn't like let us inside the building, but and I remember it was super early in the morning, super cold in the morning. I mean, of course, at that time, I know like the temperature has like risen and stuff like that, so it's not as cold. But I remember being there with my sister. We would literally go like, so it was like 6 or 6:30 that we would get dropped off. School doesn't start until like 7:45, almost 8 o'clock. So we were there like 2 hours before. First kids there. I'm not even kidding you. First kids there. Me and my sister, we would go to the playground that was there, and they had it's like a little bridge, so it's kind of like a flatter surface. We would literally go lay down. We would link our jackets together. So you know how like with the zipper, if you go and you get like another zippered jacket or shirt or whatever, and you can like zip them up together, even though, so we would join our sweaters pretty much, and we would go and we would take a nap there. We would fall asleep until we heard other kids playing, or we would like until we heard like commotion like near us. But we literally would fall asleep 6:30 at school on the playground. Like, it's just wild to me, and that's just crazy to me that you would even allow your kids. I mean, I understand that there's people that don't have the means to, of course they have to drop off their kid if they have to because work. You know what I mean? well, you could have left us at Sharon's mom's house, or, because why wouldn't you? I mean, you already have a kid with the lady. Why wouldn't you drop off your kids if you had to go in so early at work to work, and it would have been perfectly fine. But I don't know. I remember always telling my grandma that's like my grandma that story, or my I was me and my sister were very close, or are very close to her ninos, and they would be livid hearing that, like, I can't believe he would even let you like be at school so early, and how you guys are linking your jackets to make a blanket for each other, for you guys to lay down on the playground so you guys can fall asleep for a little bit. It's just, it's crazy. Like, when you think about it, it's like, damn, like, I would never allow my kids. One sec. So I think I got rid of the flies, but I don't know. I think there's like one still flying around, but I really don't want to stop the episode to try to find it. So we're just gonna have to roll with it and hope for the best. But so yeah, we had to link our I literally had to pause because I was like so irritated because I just saw it fly. But so we had to link up our sweaters because we got to school so early, and it's crazy because once my brother started going to school, he never had to go to go into school so early, or that early, like how me and my sister did. Um, they might say, "Oh, well, it's because she wasn't working at the time. Sharon wasn't working at the time," or, "Oh, like, I mean, happens, I guess." Like, I don't know. I feel like that's probably an excuse, is that she didn't work, so it's kind of like, oh well, she had the time. But I mean, that kind of just leads into the whole. It still happened in middle school, and it still happened in um in high school. I mean, it was a little bit better, I would say, once it got to like middle school and high school. But even then, middle school, I think, since I think at the time we went in like around 8:15 or so, or okay, so I'm lying. So elementary school was 7:30, and in order for you not to be late, it was 7:45. And then in middle school, I think it was 8, and to get there on like before being late, it was 8:15. And then in high school, I think it was like 8:15, and then to be late is like 8:30 or 8:45 or somewhere around there. I don't know. But so middle school, I do remember it was a little bit better. But then since we went in earlier, I mean later than my brother, um, sometimes if we caught Sharon on a good day, then she would drop us off after she dropped off my brother. But if Sharon wasn't in a good mood, then she would drop us off early before my brother. Keep in mind, he went in earlier than us, and that's how it was. The same thing in high school. Of course, we went in almost an hour later than the elementary schools. So, at that time, yes, my brother was in element no, in yeah, and he was in elementary school while me and my sister, we were in high school. And then I think 10 in 10th grade is when my sister started going to school, so she was in kinder. And then, right, 15, no, so I think I was like a freshman or a sophomore when my sister started school, and then my brother was obviously already in school by that time. I remember we would get there like around 7:15 in high school. um I mean, there was already some kids there already because there was already band kids, or there was people that had practice in the mornings, or whatever the case may be. But I do remember getting or being dropped off before my brother and my sister when they went in a whole hour before us. So it just doesn't make sense to, oh well, now she has the time, but it was only when she wanted to, pretty much. And of course, my dad, he had started working at his current job right now, so his kind of hours were all out of whack. I mean, sometimes he would go in at 6 in the morning, sometimes he would go in at 2, sometimes at 8. He would work a, a graveyard shift. It was just up in the air with him. So the more going to school, like having to be dropped off at school, fell on Sharon. And I mean, I think my dad, we had a bedtime, and I still had a bedtime in high school. I think in high school it was around 10 or so. And then I think in elementary school and middle school, I think it was 8 or 8:30. Um, and I think that was all across the board. I think it was with everybody, but I think my sister now, my younger sister, she doesn't have a bedtime that I know of in high school. So she's a sophomore right now, but it's just crazy how it kind of shifts and and how everything changes from one day to the next. So and so kind of like elementary age as well. So I want to say from when I was like 6 or 7 to when I was like 14, we were living in one house. We were renting it, and um, the way that the house is set up. So they kind of, it's like a garage kind of situation, and not really a garage. And I think it's still like that to this day because a couple years back, my tia was renting that house out as well because one of my tias, she owns that house. So and so it's a like a, I guess you can say like a washer, like a laundry room kind of, but it was also kind of like a storage place as well. And I remember being like 8 years old, 7 years old. I mean, how tall are you at that age? Like 4 foot something? Like you're not even that tall. I remember we had to do our own laundry at that age. I mean, I wasn't even tall enough to put my hand all the way down on into the washer, so me and my sister had to literally jump onto the washer in order for us to get all of our clothes out. And at that age, I mean, who's thinking about laundry? I mean, of course, I understand the whole responsibility, and you have to start learning to be responsible for your things, and you have to do chores because of course obviously you're gonna have to wash your clothes when you're older. Obviously you have to wash the dishes or sweep and mop your floor, like your clean your house or whatever. But at 8 years old, I think that's a little impractical when it comes to washing your own clothes. And just so I remember, of course, being that age, we were very little, doing our own laundry. I mean, if I don't, how am I supposed to know where everything goes? How am I supposed to know that the my dog is trying to catch the fly, and I see it right here. Um, so I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have a lot of breaks in this video because of this stupid fly. But anyways, so yeah, that age, doing your clothes or whatever, and or washing. Me and my sister had to wash our clothes. I know that when my grandma would come over, she would help us out a lot, which is my dad's mom. Um, she would help us out a lot with our clothes as well. Like she knew that we had to wash our own clothes, so she would help us out whenever she came over, which wasn't a lot, but because she just didn't feel comfortable coming to the house. um, only because of how the whole dynamic was with Sharon. But um, so yeah, from what I know, my brother didn't start washing his own clothes till I don't even think he did it in high school. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think he did his clothes in high school. He never had to wash his clothes at 8 years old. He never had to wash his clothes in middle school age. He never had to wash his clothes high school age. It was always done for him. I don't know if my little sister, she washes her own clothes or not, but she wasn't 8 years old and doing her own laundry. Um, and I remember, of course, as a kid, you're not gonna remember that you put, oh, I remember I put a load in the wash. Oh, I have to go and grab my clothes. Like, obviously not. So we would get in trouble because we forgot our clothes in the washer, and we would get in trouble for it. Instead of being like, hey, you know what? Just remember you have to get your clothes or whatever, like, I mean, at a certain age, yes, I understand, like, maybe at 12, like, maybe showing my kids how to do the laundry, but not to do it on their own and get upset at them because they left their fucking clothes in the washer. And just because, what, you didn't want to wash clothes, or you didn't want to wash my clothes, or what was it, you know what I mean? um so yeah, we had to wash our own clothes. We weren't even tall enough to fucking get the clothes that were on the bottom of the washer. um I mean, it's crazy to me how different it is. But I'm trying to think of other chores or other things um kind of in that time period of like elementary school. um what else? um so once they got the house that they have now, so not the one that we were renting, but the other one. I remember Sharon's mom would come over because she would ask her mom to go and clean the house. Um, so she would clean everybody's room. She would sweep and mop the floors. Um, the My dad's room has carpet, so she would like vacuum it, and it would smell really nice and clean. Um, and me thinking, oh well, everybody has their room clean, so maybe mine's clean too. I mean, I always had my room clean anyways. It's not like you had to pick up a disgusting pile of clothes and disgusting everywhere, like just being dirty. And I was never like that. I mean, I always did my bed in the morning whenever I woke up for school, and I put my clothes in the dirty laundry, like in the dirty hamper or whatever. But and I would go into my room and the same thing. I mean, if you're gonna ask somebody to come and clean the house, why wouldn't you ask to clean the whole entire house? And that includes all the rooms. I think at one point, and I know, so for a good while, my little sister, she was in the same room as my dad and Sharon. And then my sister, this one, she had her own room. My brother had his own room, and then I had my own room. And and the room that I had, it had a bathroom in it. And then it was like the guest bathroom, I guess you could say, like that's in the hallway. And my brother and my sister shared that restroom. And the cleaning would be either directed to my sister, or they wouldn't let Sharon's, or they would tell, or whatever. Sharon's mom just wouldn't clean that restroom because it was my sister's responsibility. Even though two people were sharing it, only one person was cleaning it. And I think at that age, I think my brother was already at an age where he was more than capable of cleaning a restroom, or at least half and half. Hey, you know what, today I do the tub and you do the toilet and the sink, and vice versa, all whatever. And then, or the shower and the floor, and then you do the 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 sink and the toilet. So just like that. I mean, he was more than capable, but did he do it? Did they make him do it? No. And that kind of just leads me into the whole chores situation. So, like I said, I'm not saying anything in regards to, I just wish they never made me do anything. Like, of course, there's people that have kids that have their kids do chores and just learn the responsibility and learn that you have to do things on your own and just things like that. But a lot of the times, the chores were just directed towards me and my sister. Um, and I already spoke to my sister about this, and I told her, you know what, like, I don't want for you to think that I'm sharing your side of the story, because I'm not. But a lot of these things that happen, they did happen to both of us. And I just told her, like, I hope that you don't take it the wrong way, or if I'm like including you into it. And she's like, no, like of course not. Like, of course I'm also included in those stories as well. But of course I'm sharing my perspective on what happened and the things that were done. So my dad made us do the dishes. Me and my sister, we would like on and off, like, okay, so I'll actually scrub and you rinse and put them in the drying rack or wherever they were gonna go. And then we had to put those dishes away as well. Um, it's it was just annoying in the sense of, oh, I'm gonna pile the dishes and pile the dishes and pile the dishes and pile the dishes. We weren't there, of course, we were at school or whatever. We would come home and there would be like a fuck ton of dishes. And I mean, of course, we still had our homework and we still had to clean our rooms and we still had to do just different, like, just those sort of things. Um, and just because there wasn't a pot clean that they needed to be, like, they needed to use, why aren't you guys doing the dishes? Why aren't the dishes clean? Like, it's like, bro, I just got home like 15 minutes ago. Like, can I just chill for a little bit? Like, like, it was just like that. And I think for a little bit they were like giving us money for the chores, but I think it was only like $5. And from what I heard, and of course this is just hearsay, but I do remember hearing that my brother would get $80 to if he did the dishes. Hello? What are you talking about? Like, how is it that it goes from $5 and then end up being to nothing to $80? And my brother at that time, I think he had to feed Marley, which is the family dog, and take out the trash. Pretty simple. I mean, just pick up the fucking trash and throw it in the trash can, put a new, or throw it in the bin or whatever, put a new trash bag in the can. That's it. Dogs don't eat all day long. It's not like you have to tend to them, like tend to the feeding, like 5 hours in the day or whatever. All you need to do is scoop up some, throw it in the can. Simple as that. You're done. Um, and then I know that when my brother was still getting the $80, Sharon's mom was coming and cleaning the dishes for him. Hello? And I remember there was a couple times, I'm not gonna say that Sharon's mom didn't help with our chores either, but there were a couple of times where she did do the dishes here and there, but it wasn't like every single day, and we had to do the dishes every single day. I remember there was one time where we had to do the dishes and we just forgot, we were tired, whatever. We were like, well, we kind of agreed, well, we'll just do them tomorrow. What's the big deal? We ended up getting in really big trouble. My dad told me, you know what, or told us, like, you should be doing the dishes every day, and that's not right to be leaving the dishes in the kitchen or whatever. Like, you can't just leave them there, it's a mess. And he ended up making us take out all of the Tupperware and all of the glasses and all the plates of like the cabinets that they were in, reorganize them, put away the dishes that were there, and then clean up the pile and pile of dishes that had accumulated. And why couldn't you just clean the dishes that you just used? What was it going to take you, 5 minutes of your time? Like, it just, I think to me that was really fucked up in the sense of, oh, I'm just going to let them pile up and pile up because I don't have to deal with them. I don't care. It's going to be on somebody else, not me. Like, and I remember I think they're just trying to make everything a lesson and more of like, oh, well, you have consequences to your actions. And I understand that, of course, you have consequences to your actions. And I'm not going to say that that was wrong. But the approach of it was what the fucked up part was. I think there was one time where me and my sister, we got in trouble. And my dad was like, sweep and mop the floor. Sweep and mop everywhere. And it's like, okay. I mean, I guess, but whatever. I mean, what was I gonna do? Complain? Get mad? I mean, get up, like, get in trouble for what? For me to sweep him off the floor again? You know, it just, if you're gonna do chores like that, at least make it even with everybody. I'm not gonna go when my kids are older. I'm not gonna go to my son and be like, hey, you know what? Wash the dishes. I'll give you $100. And then I go to his sister 2 days later. Hey, you know what? This is your chore now. You're gonna do the dishes. I'm only gonna give you $5. There's no, it's not comparable and it's not right to do that. And so yeah, just to me, I don't know, maybe some people hearing this might be like, well, I don't know, like, I just, that's normal or whatever, but um to me, I just don't think it was okay. And I've talked to a lot of other people in regards to this, and they also think that it was super fucked up too. But to each their own, I guess. But with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and talk about the unfairness since we're kind of on the topic now. So my grandma. Okay, scratch that. So we're gonna talk. We're gonna kind of set the scene a little bit. So my brother and my sister, the younger ones, they are, of course, they were very close to Sharon's mom and dad. And when whenever it was like school time, like the start of this, like the school year or whatever, we would go back to school shopping and we would get, the necessities, the school supplies, and clothes and shoes. But when it came to the shoes part, and I don't mean it in a materialistic way or anything like that, of course, but you have to think about it in the sense of, I was thinking this as a little kid. So, of course, I saw all my friends with their Vans and their Nikes and this and that. And, of course, if we didn't have the means to buy it, well, then no, of course, we didn't have the money for it. Why am I gonna cry about something materialistic? But at that time, there were bullies and there were ugly kids and there were very nasty when it came to, you didn't have designer things, and oh, you didn't have name brand things or whatever. And I remember where my dad would make us go and buy Skechers, for example. um, we would bring our shoes home, and then I see, let's say, the first day of school, my brother is wearing like Nikes. And it's like, well, how is he wearing Nikes and me and my sister are wearing Skechers? Like, that doesn't make sense. And I would ask him, like, oh, well, where did, pause. So we're gonna come up with names for, I'm gonna have to bleep that out a little bit, but um we're gonna make up names for my younger siblings. So we're gonna call my brother Josh, and then my sister, we're gonna call her Melanie. I don't know. So I'd be like, oh, well, how is Josh, what, like, why did Josh get Nikes and me and my sister, we didn't get that? Oh, well, it's because their grandma and their grandpa bought it for them. Oh, okay, like, valid, whatever, right? So of course I would go to my grandma and be like, oh yeah, like she would ask me about school or whatever, and I'd tell her like, oh yeah, like, um, I was kind of sad because Josh got Nikes and me and my sister we had to get Skechers or whatever. And I know that there were a couple times where she offered to get them or to get us like shoes that we wanted, like that were like brand shoes or whatever. And my dad would either say no or he would whatever he said or did or whatever, and we just didn't end up getting them. I don't think I got Vans or like shoes that I actually wanted until I was maybe like in middle school or so. I think I don't remember, but I know for sure like in high school I did have like Vans. That's mostly all I would get was Vans. Um, but it's just crazy like how, oh, it's okay for Sharon's mom and dad to get Josh and Melanie shoes that they wanted, but my dad's mom couldn't get us shoes. Like it just doesn't make sense. And so yeah. I mean, I already feel like I'm already like at a good 40 minutes, 30 40 minutes just even talking about all this. So it's definitely going to have to be a part 2 for this for this series, but um so I think like so obviously elementary and middle school we had to wear uniforms. So of course we couldn't wear like jeans or like a t-shirt that we liked or whatever, right? It was dress code. We had our uniforms. It wasn't until high school that we were able to wear whatever we wanted. Of course, still in dress code, but you can wear your jeans, you can wear your shorts, you can wear your t-shirt, you can wear whatever. And I remember, and it's and I love this store to this day, so it's not like anything like that. But I remember my Josh and Melanie would get their clothes from J.C. Penney and Macy's and all this stuff. Of course, it was Sharon's mom that bought it for them, but I I remember going to Ross to get my clothes for school, and they'd be like, "Okay, just only 2 pants and 2 shirts. That's it." And it's like, how do you want me to wear the same 2 shirts every single day for school? Like, so I had to take a little break because my kids have woken up from their nap, and my tia so kindly let me take them over there. So my kids are over there right now. So once I'm finished recording the last portion of the episode, I'm gonna go ahead and grab them. But so I was going off on the tangent of not having. I mean, I understand if my dad didn't have the means for things or if he didn't have money to buy certain things. I understand that, and I would get it. But it seemed like if we had enough money because we did a good amount of things, we did this and we did that. So why wouldn't you be able to buy me maybe like four or $5 shirts? You know what I mean? Like, and it's not like I was trying to get anything super expensive, or it's not that I was trying to, oh, let me see if I can waste as much money as I possibly can. If I didn't have that, I always had a frugal mentality. I always had a, oh, well, maybe I can get these 2 plain shirts and they're like $3 each. Maybe I can ask to get another shirt since I'm not getting them so expensive. That was my mindset. And um of course at that time Ross wasn't super expensive. I mean, it's still not to this day, but the prices were obviously a lot less than what they are now. So a shirt back then was maybe $4, $5, depending on what kind of design you wanted or design it had. And then the jeans were maybe what, like 12 or $13. I still think they are to this day. Um, So yeah, I mean, I always had that mindset, and that's why it was always something that I was kind of like, like I was always like wondering about, like, well, why wouldn't my dad? I mean, I think at that point Walmart had less, like, some shirts from Walmart were more expensive than Ross. I wasn't telling him, oh, I want to go to Forever 21. Oh, I want to go to Hollister. I want to go to Abercrombie. I was never that type of kid. The thing that I probably, if anything, the most that I wanted was like Vans. Vans are what, like $45, $50, like, um, so I don't know. It's just that dynamic of it, and so that kind of I so when I was talking to my boyfriend about all this, I was telling him I just don't know how to transition things into that. It's not because right now I talk to my dad and I talk to Sharon. I talk to Josh and I talk to Melanie. You know, I mean, um, I know of course this is gonna kind of stir up those relationships, and I know that those are gonna either just go away or they're not gonna like me or whatever the case may be. But like I said, it's never my intention to hurt anybody. It's never my intention to make people feel like shit. It's just my truth and what I want to express to people, because I feel like me talking about everything that happened in my childhood is kind of like a therapy for me. I I don't like talking to other people about my feelings. It's very hard for me to talk about my feelings and express what I want to express. And um, talking here with you guys here, of course, you're not right in front of me, right? But I do know that this is kind of coming across like a little FaceTime kind of video. And I know that people are going to be watching this and they're going to have their comments, and they're going to have either they're going to like it or they're going to dislike it. There's no in between, you know? And so going back to the whole me, I do talk to my dad right now. I mean, he loves my kids, and Sharon does too. I kind of I feel like they are maybe making up for my childhood um, through my kids, and it's not such a direct way of going about it, and that's fine, you know. But also don't make it seem like if nothing ever happened either, or making it seem like if what are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. Like, and just making it seem like if it's like things are okay. Like, I'm not saying things are not okay, but they're not great either. I mean, there's still that talk that we haven't had yet where when it comes to terms of, and maybe it might never happen, that they come to terms and they accept what they did and accept what they didn't do. Um, and I I mean, I would hope that it doesn't change any relationships, but more than likely it is, and that's okay. I mean, I'm not saying anything bad about anybody. I'm not saying, oh, she's such a bitchy person, or oh, he's such an asshole, or anything like that. It has nothing to do with that. Um, but if you are hurt by these videos, or you are angry about these videos, or you're whatever feelings that you're feeling about these videos, well, then you kind of have to look deeper within, and maybe you feel like that because you are, you know, like that. I mean, you are at fault, and these are your actions, and now that people are calling you out on it, you don't like it, you know. But I mean, so that going to the whole thing of that we're still talking right now, I remember when my son turned 1, we had a birthday party for him, and it was a very intimate birthday party. It wasn't a lot of people. I think maybe max 20 people or so. It was at my tia's house, because at the time we were living in apartments, so we obviously I didn't want to have it at the apartments, or I didn't want to spend a lot of money on a party hall, or you know, just that kind of thing. So I was like, oh, well, it could be a little bit cheaper to do it at home. We can. I made most of the decorations myself. I made little party favors and just things like that. And at that time, I wasn't really talking to Sharon, and I had told my dad, hey, you know what? I sent him the invitation for my son's birthday party, and I told him, here you go. Here's the invitation. You and the kids are more than welcome. But I do want to let you know right now that Sharon is not invited. I do not want Sharon here. Simple as that. And I think he ended up um, texting me saying, thanks for the invite, or something like that. And I was like, okay. So just from that response alone, I knew he wasn't going to show up, and he didn't. Which I think was pretty fucked up because it's your grandkid. You know, it's your grandson, your first grandson, your first grandchild, and you decided not to go for what? Because I do know that he goes to birthday parties and he's gone by himself, or he'll go and he'll take Josh with him or whatever the case is, and Sharon won't go. But I think because I specifically did not invite Sharon was the reason why he didn't show up. Um, but I think after that, I want to say, I think even my son's second birthday party, she didn't go. I think I had I think I ended up extending the invitation to all four of them. I could be completely wrong though. I don't remember that. And then, you know what? I remember exactly why I didn't want Sharon at my son's first birthday party was because when I was 7 months pregnant with my no so when my son was 7 months old, that's when I got pregnant with my daughter, and we had a gender reveal for her. My sister threw a gender reveal for us, and I remember when I opened the door and they were there. They came to the gender reveal. Of course, we had everybody wear like pink or blue or whatever to like, oh, what do you think it's gonna be? And I remember I opened the door for her, and she was just already in a mood, and I was like, oh hi, like, why wouldn't you say hi to the people that the gender reveal is literally for, or the party is literally for? And she was like, oh hi, like very ugly and rude, and I was like, okay, like whatever, right? And the whole time that they were there, she just had a face, and it was just very uncomfortable. And why would I want to feel uncomfortable at my own gender reveal? And I was expressing to my boyfriend like, oh, you know, like he also noticed the looks as well, and he also noticed the faces, and I was like, you know what, whatever. From that point on, that's when I was like, you know what, I'm done. I'm over trying to include her in these things and try to include her because, you know, I mean, I wasn't gonna be that person like, oh, I'm just gonna completely ignore her and just completely remove her from her life. And even if I did, then it would be valid. But I was done. I why would it just doesn't make sense to me. But so that's the reason why I told my dad that she wasn't invited. I don't remember if I told him exactly why, but I just told him straight up like I just don't want her there. And then I think after that birthday party, or after my son's first birthday party, I don't remember how it all went down, but it ended up being where we kind of um I guess we kind of like started talking a little bit after that, like after that incident. And then for my son's second birthday party, she didn't show up either. And I think I extended the invitation to them, both of them. I didn't exclude anybody from it, but I could be wrong. But I'm pretty sure I didn't exclude anybody from it. And then my daughter turned 1, and then I think at that time they were taking my brother to to the school he's at right now. He's in college right now, so my dad had to take him or something like that. I don't remember. And she didn't feel comfortable coming by herself, so nobody showed up from them. And then my son's third birthday party, they did show up. But it's just all that. It's just, I feel like they are trying to make up for my childhood with my kids. I don't know. But yeah. I mean, I don't even know how long I've been recording for. But yeah. So, with that being said, we're going to go ahead and end the video here. There's definitely going to be a part 2. I think it's going to be a little bit more intense part 2, because there are going to be specific scenarios that happened and things that I vividly remember happening. But I'm very excited for you guys to watch it. I'm very excited to see the reaction that it has. More so the positivity of it. I do know that I do have a lot of people that do support me. My cousins, my sister, just different people all around there, especially my boyfriend. But yeah. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and end the video here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys so much for subscribing and liking my videos and reacting to them, or just the engagement on my videos. Just thank you guys so much. Remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next Monday.